Story 1. AITA for refusing to share my baby name choice after my sister-in-law claimed it for her future child. I, 31F, am currently 7 months pregnant with my first child, a baby girl. My husband, 33M, and I have spent a lot of time picking out a name that's meaningful to us. The name is actually a nod to my late grandmother, who I was very close with, and it's a name that isn't super common anymore. We decided to keep the name private until the baby's born. Here's where things get awkward. My sister-in-law, SIL, Laura, 29F, isn't pregnant yet, but has been trying for a baby with her husband for a while. She has shared some potential names she likes, and it turns out one of her top choices is the exact name we picked for our daughter. When we all got together for a family dinner recently, someone brought up baby names, and I jokingly said, "Oh, we have one picked out, but it's a surprise." Laura pushed me a bit, asking for a hint, so I finally shared that it's my grandmother's name. She immediately guessed the name, and when I confirmed it, she looked shocked and said, "But that's the name I wanted for my future daughter." She asked if I would pick something else since she had called dibs on the name first. I told her I didn't think it was fair to ask that, especially given the family connection. She got pretty upset and said I was being selfish and inconsiderate because I know how much she wants that name. Now, my husband is totally on my side, but Laura has been cold to me ever since and has even brought it up in front of other family members, saying she can't believe I'd take a name she told me about. Some of the family thinks it's a bit harsh of me to use a name she clearly had in mind, while others think it's unreasonable of her to expect me to give it up. So, AITA, for sticking with the name we chose, even though my sister-in-law wants to use it in the future, note that she never mentioned the fact she was planning to use this name.
In my opinion, she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 2. AITA for refusing to take care of my wife since she caught the flu from having sex with her affair partner. This is partially a rant and partially an actual question. I, 54M, have been married to my wife, Victoria, 54F, for over 32 years. We have 3 adult daughters and 1 adult son. Early this year, she started menopause. I loved her and supported her throughout this difficult time. She said she didn't want to have sex because she felt like she's fat and ugly. I told her she's beautiful, and I was patient with her as she said she didn't want sex. It was only since this month that she wanted us to have sex again. I thought things were getting better until I saw a condom wrapper in our bedroom. My job involves going out of town for business trips. This last trip, I tried to get into my wife's social media, and luckily enough, she used someone's birthday as the password. I found out her affair partner is Zachary, 35M, a family friend who has a wife, 29F. So on my trip, I read so many messages. One message involved Zachary asking if it's okay to come over for their fun time since he thinks he's coming down with something. Even after getting back in town, I read some messages. Zachary messaged that he and his wife have the flu, so he can't see my wife for a while. My wife said that herself getting the flu was worth it. I came home to my wife who's suffering from the flu. I immediately told her that I know about her and Zachary. She was upset but too weak from the flu to stop me from packing and leaving. She begged me to not leave her alone while she's sick. After I left, my wife has been messaging me. She said she's very sick. I told her to go to the doctor, call ambulance, or call someone else. She said she's not dying, but she needs me. She said she can't call our kids nor any other family member since they'll ask why I'm not there. She said that menopause had made her crazy and that she wouldn't see Zachary anymore. I still haven't gone back. Am I the asshole? Edit. As soon as I found the messages, I was planning on telling Zach's wife. I wanted to tell her face to face. I wanted to spare our adult kids the horrible news, but many in the comments made a good point that my wife could lie to our kids. So I called Zach's wife first. I don't know what's going on in their marriage because she believed me right away. I called my kids and talked to them like a conference call. I had to, unfortunately, send some proof to them. I didn't go overboard, just enough for them to believe me. Obviously, they're all upset. I tried to keep it together as I don't want to vent about their mother to them. Second edit. Zach's wife has been messaging me last night and this morning. She was planning on leaving Zachary anyway because Zachary was sleeping with 2 other women. But the fact that Victoria is a married woman who is like a family member speeds things up. Zach's wife made Zachary leave the house. Also, all my kids have called their mother. They're not buying any of their mom's excuses. They all want me to divorce her.
In my opinion, he is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 3. AITA for taking back my expensive gift after my brother gifted it to his girlfriend. For my brother's birthday, I bought him a really expensive watch that he'd been talking about for months. It was a Tissot PRX with blue dial, which runs for about $725. It took me a while to save up for it, and I was excited to surprise him with it. He seemed happy when he got it, but a few weeks later I noticed that he wasn't wearing it. When I asked him about it, he awkwardly admitted that he gave the watch to his girlfriend because she liked it more. It's one thing if she wears it sometimes, but completely regifting it did not sit right with me. I was shocked and honestly hurt. I put a lot of thought into that gift, and it wasn't cheap. So I asked for the watch back, saying that if he didn't want it, I'd rather return it or keep it for myself. He got mad and said it's rude to ask for a gift back and that his girlfriend should be able to enjoy it. Now my family is involved, and my brother is calling me petty for taking back the gift. AITA for not letting him or gift my present to someone else. Edit. Alright, I've decided to let my brother, or his girlfriend I guess, keep the watch. I'm still upset about the whole situation because it feels like my gift didn't mean anything to him. But at this point, I'd rather not create more drama in the family over it. Just going to move on. But yeah, still kind of stings. He's definitely getting that $25 McDonald's gift card next. Appreciate everyone's feedback.
In my opinion, he is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 4. AITA for selling my house out from under my son and his girlfriend. I, 60F, have rented my second home to my son Joe, 34M, for the last 7 years. Initially, he shared the home with friends at a below-market rent. Leases included agreements for periodic, reasonable increases. Most of my retirement nest egg was in that home, and I was clear that if there was ever any risk to the investment, I would have to sell immediately. Once I lost the homeowner's insurance as they were not properly maintaining the house. We made corrections and got in reinstated. Twice I lost my job and struggled to pay the mortgage on that house and my primary residence, but was able to quickly find another job and cover expenses. Each of these instances prompted a conversation that they should prepare for the house to be sold if I could not resolve the problem. I planted the seed with my son that he should be saving money in case he wanted to buy the house someday. And this is where I might be the AH. He initially said he was not interested, but 2 years ago his girlfriend, 32F, moved in and he showed more interest. I was very happy for them, and I thought we had a good relationship. They told their housemates they wanted to live together as a couple and asked them to move out. She coordinated an effort to clean up the house and maintain it better, which made me very happy. Then, our neighborhood started changing. Investors were buying up properties at hugely inflated prices and mostly renting them out. Some homes are vacant for a long time before being rented. There was a shooting a block away. It was time to get out of that neighborhood and take advantage of the higher market prices. I spoke to Joe and his girlfriend in the fall of 2023 and explained why they should start making plans to be out by the fall of 2024. We briefly discussed their financial situation. They were not able to buy the house and possibly never could at the going rate. The value of homes had more than doubled in a year, and that market was not going to sustain itself much longer. Everything instantly changed. She was openly rude to my face and via text. When they moved out, they left some petty, vindictive messages around the house. They refused to give anyone in the family their new address. In 2017, I had promised Joe a portion of the profit when I sell. The day after I wrote him the check, he changed his phone number. He has gone no contact and broken my heart. His father, 71M, my ex, told me that Joe eventually called him, but still won't give his address. He told my ex if I ever got his number, then he would just change it again and never trust him. He said they are cutting me out of their life because I sold the house out from under them. F up. They were mostly responsible tenants, paid a fair price always on time. A bit neglectful but not destructive. The insurance co. were D*C cakes. Not his fault, but my retirement fund was at risk. He is not spoiled at all, but we've always had a rocky relationship. I love him dearly, and some of the comments are not totally fair to him. He could have lived with either parent for low no cost. His siblings did this until they were on their feet. Joe chose to rent from me. The mortgage needed to be paid. I sold both houses, not just the rental, and paid off the mortgages, so not a pure profit here. I owed money. We both had to move, and I'm downsizing to prepare for retirement. Cheaper house in a cheaper area. Joe and girlfriend are not in a position to buy the house even at a lower price. But if they were, why wouldn't they just turn around and sell for the extra cash?
In my opinion, she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 5. Am I the asshole for serving my husband divorce papers when he wanted a divorce? I, 39F, was pregnant and a stay-at-home mom to my toddler when my husband, 39M, said he doesn't love me and wants to split up because I was too hormonal. I was blindsided. Admittedly, I'd been critical of his messiness, his challenges keeping up with household duties, and our values differed. He prioritized work and I a more balanced lifestyle. He committed to a vegan lifestyle while dating and went back on it, which I was critical of. Despite the shock, I tried to fight for us, apologized profusely, and we gave it another shot. The baby was born, and 3 months in, he tells me he wants a divorce after I woke him up at 10 a.m. to move his laundry. I was feeling resentful that he was unhelpful, but because he works late nights, he considered this the biggest disrespect and flipped out, swore at me, and said he wanted out. We both wanted to settle outside of court, so we looked for mediators. I found 2, but it went nowhere because we were so far apart. He demanded 50% custody, immediate overnights for kids, and to pay no child support, although he was the breadwinner. He said that because my parents have money, they should cover us. He even claims we're not married, and thus it's not a divorce just because we didn't file the marriage license on time. We had a religious ceremony and a civil ceremony. So when mediation was going nowhere, I got a lawyer, without his knowledge, and planned to serve him a divorce. Before serving him, he moved out, but still expected to use the house. One time, he came back to see the kids, but he was working loudly and disruptively, so I asked him to leave. This led to a major altercation. He swore at me in front of the kids, and my parents threatened to call the cops. After this, he canceled the credit card I used to pay for the kids without warning. Then he got served the papers. Immediately, he asked for my car title, which had his name on it, and the kids' passports, and canceled my phone, which he was paying for. Since I didn't have a working phone and my lawyer considered him a flight risk and he wasn't communicating efficiently through the lawyers to make a schedule, he didn't see the kids for 2 weeks. We had our day in court, but the final determination is delayed because he insists we aren't married. Since he got served, he's been furious and accuses me of being pure evil. But the divorce was his idea. I wanted to work things out. He thinks taking him to court for custody and child support is the most vile thing and shows my poor character. He's bad-mouthed me to family and friends. He thinks I've been controlling with the kids' schedule. He sees them 3 days a week, but I'm not comfortable with sleepovers at his house yet. He's also furious about the 2 weeks he didn't see the kids. Yet he still hasn't paid a dime of their expenses and has more potential quality time with them than he ever did. So tell me, AITA, for serving my husband divorce papers and asking for child support for my young sons instead of just letting him leave and giving him 50% custody.
In my opinion, she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below. Subscribe for more interesting stories.